And that's what we're going to talk about for the next few sessions, actually. How old is the Earth? It is a key component in, I think, in the creation-evolution controversy. Let's go to the caller here. Jonathan, who we have?
We've got Jared on the phone.
Jared, what do you think about purgatory?
What do I think about purgatory?
Yes.
I'm not sure how to answer that question. I could give you my Christian response that I would have given when I was still a believer, and I could give my response now.
What would be your response now?
I think it's all baloney, just like everything else in Christianity is.
That would have been your Christian response when you were a Christian?
No, that's his response now.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
that sounds kind of weird.
My response before would have been that there was absolutely no biblical justification for it.
There is no biblical justification, and it's one of the biggest fundraisers the Catholic Church has ever come up with.
Why is that?
It makes them a lot of money. The whole purpose of purgatory is to bring in money.
How does it bring in money?
Oh, poor ignorant people will pay money to get grandma out of purgatory when it doesn't even exist, you know.
You could buy people out of purgatory?
Oh, that's what they taught, yeah.
Well, that's cute.
Okay. So it's a fundraiser. It's a Benny Hinn tactic, you know. Send me $20 and I'll heal you, you know. Lay your hand on the TV.
That doesn't surprise me. But the Catholic Church doesn't still do that, of course, right?
Not anymore. But see, there are so many phonies in Christianity. I can understand why people like you just say, that's it, I'm out of here. Okay, I do understand completely.
That's not why I left Christianity.
Okay. But the fact that there are phonies, just like the fact that there are counterfeits, does not mean there isn't a real thing.
There was a guy on TV
sure. That's why I didn't let that kind of stuff, you know, I didn't let that weigh on me too heavily whenever I was a Christian. I mean, I knew there were a lot of fakes, but...
Yeah, there was a guy on television one night who was offering to send me a handkerchief and a small bottle of water. If I drank the water and put the handkerchief on wherever I hurt, then I'd be fine. Of course, I have to send $20 with it because it's a silk handkerchief.
Plus $5 shipping and handling.
Yeah. Supplies last. While supplies last.
You know, Gandhi was right. Billy Graham asked him, "Are you ever going to become a Christian?" He said, "Oh, I've considered it seriously, and I certainly have decided I will become a Christian if I ever meet one." There are so many phonies out there. I can understand. I mean, It was the church people that nailed Jesus on the cross. You know,
the
religious people that stabbed me in the back all the time. You know.
So how are you supposed to tell the phonies from the realies?
Well, you ask me. That's the only way to tell.
Oh, okay. I get it.
Okay. Go ahead, Jared. What's your question today?
That's rock solid, Ken. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So I want to talk about the geologic column a little bit, actually. Going to brave the geology waters here.
Okay.
Okay. So tell me again. Okay, your position statement is that the geologic column doesn't exist, correct?
My position statement is the geologic column was invented in the 1800s to try to answer the question of do there appear to be certain order of fossils. There does appear to be a certain order of fossils in some areas, and they traced it across the English Channel from England to France and said, wow, look, these clams are found in this layer, and above these clams are found some other type fossil, and we see the same order across the English Channel 100 miles away in France. Okay, great. But the geologic column is actually a figment of somebody's imagination. There are thousands of layers of sediments, and they do contain trillions of fossils, but the order is not always that way. There are 26 places on planet Earth where the index fossils have been found in a particular order, but there are, probably 26 billion places where they have not been found in that order, so it's pure random. You're the mathematician. I mean, it's statistically probable you would find 10 fossils in a particular order if you keep digging. It doesn't prove that.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I don't think that's actually a correct characterization of the ordering problem. It's that the 26 places you're mentioning are the places where all the different supposed periods of the geologic column are well represented.
How do you know a rock is Cretaceous?
How do you know it's Cretaceous?
Yeah, you say this is Cretaceous, this is Jurassic, this is Triassic. How do you know? Let's take Jurassic. The limestone, for instance, is called Jurassic limestone. There is also a Cambrian limestone, and there's also a Permian limestone.
Yeah.
What's the difference between Permian limestone and Jurassic limestone?
As I said before, you can tell easily by the index fossils.
That's the only way you can tell.
Okay, but in order for this to be a faulty idea, you would have to find places where the index fossil not reliably used.
Hang on, we've got a break there. But if you find dinosaur bone in Permian, well, we'll come back after the break. Talk about that. Okay, we'll be back, folks. Hang in there. All right, folks, welcome back to the Creation Science Hour and a Half. This is Ken Hovind and Jonathan Sampson live. It's July the 13th, the day before my 32nd anniversary, and my wife's in Texas, Jonathan, at the hospital with my sick son-in-law. Oh, well.
I had a Category 3.5, 4 hurricane on my birthday, no power for a few days after, so
Yeah, yeah.
It's tough.
Life's rough, and then you die. Just get used to it.
It's hard for us Illinois boys.
It is. Anyway, we're the folks here at Creation Science Evangelism who believe the Bible is literally true and scientifically accurate, and the evolution theory is the dumbest and most dangerous religion in the history of planet Earth. And we take your calls at 850-479-DINO, extension 136. And Jared's on the phone talking about the geologic column. Go ahead, Jared.
Oh, by the way, am I allowed to call Creation Science stupid or dumb on the air?
Well, when you get your own program, yeah.
Oh, okay, so I can as a guest.
Oh, you can as a guest, sure.
Okay, I think it's dumb, just for the record. Okay, so let's talk about...
See, that's why we let you call in. We know you think it's dumb, but see, we're going to convert you over to this.
I welcome the challenge.
Oh, good.
Okay, so when you say that the geologic column doesn't exist, what is the ontological status of the geologic column as you see it? What kind of object are you talking about here? Is it something abstract, or is it something concrete?
The geologic column is simply an abstract. It is an idea that people believe that they build on.
Okay.
It is a.
And what do you mean when you say it doesn't exist?
It doesn't exist except in the imagination.
Well, neither does the number 3.
Okay, good point.
Then, is there any content to your statement then the geologic column doesn't exist?
Well, the geologic column is a hoax in that everybody thinks there is such a thing as Jurassic or Permian or Cambrian, and there isn't. There's no such thing as any. None of those exist.
Okay, if you define Jurassic by the presence of a Tyrannosaurus Rex or whatever it is that defines it, or it can be used to identify it, if you define it that way, then how can you say it doesn't exist? If you define the layers by what are in them, then it has to exist, right?
No. My point is, they do define the layers by the fossils they find, and therefore it is based on circular reasoning. I've been over that carefully on video number 4.
Of course, they find those fossils in different layers, just like I was reading here. Don Batten was talking about over 60 different types of woody plants found in Precambrian rock.
What kind of plants?
Woody plants, like wood plants.
As opposed to...
That is absurd.
Well, see, here's why Jared thinks it's absurd.
Yeah, you can think it's absurd. That's fine.
Because if it's Precambrian, by definition, it can't have those.
Yeah.
And therefore, so this can't be Precambrian. So this is, like if you believe in evolution, you're a scientist, and if you don't believe in evolution, you're not a scientist. So therefore, all evolutionists believe in, all scientists believe in evolution.
I'm not talking about full plants and trees here. I'm talking about fragments.
It doesn't matter, even if they're fragments. Man.
That's fine. Well,
he's claiming a falsification of the theory of evolution.
That is not a falsification.
Yes, it is.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay,
well, hold on a second. I actually talked to, I think it was Wesley Ellsbury, about, pollen that can be found in lower layers, and they call it stratigraphic leaking. And I don't want to say it was Wesley, but it was someone from Panda's Thumb. And we talked specifically about pollen. They said pollen has been known to fall down cracks and be replaced.
Okay, but you're talking about like wood, right?
I'm talking about fragments.
Fragments of wood found in Cambrian rock.
Are we talking about wood that is fossilized in Precambrian rock?
Well, all I read was woody samples of over 60 different species, so I'm not going to get any more detailed than what I just read.
Okay, well then I had to know more about it than to say whether that's actually...
Well, the mere location of it, according to the atheists over at the Panda's Thumb, is not...
Atheism has nothing to do with...
Well, hold on a second. I did not say it did. I just said these guys are atheists, the ones that I talked to. Some of them may be theists. I didn't talk to any theists over there, though. But these atheist evolutionists over there at Panda's Thumb, they agree this is not a falsification. Pollen in lower stratigraphic layers. Stratigraphic leaking works. It can fall down cracks. That's what they say.
Okay, but I'm talking about fossilized remains.